Welcome back to Seduce Me with Jackie and Isabel. And Diana was just in the middle of giving us a really weird and not
Historical lecture.
yeah in history class because she's Diana. And anyway,
Diana chuckled and looked back to the class.
Well, luckily in the real story of the Little Mermaid, the mermaid knows that what she was doing was wrong, and she threw herself into the ocean, turning into sea foam.
well, that's not why she threw herself into the ocean.
Some of the students that surrounded me mumbled in surprise, obviously not knowing the real story. However, Diana was wrong, once again.
That's not true.
Once again, the class looked to me, and Diana faced me with another smile.
Not true. How so?
The trade-off for becoming human was marrying the prince or turning into sea foam. However, she was also given the choice to kill the prince and turn back into a mermaid. The mermaid didn't because she loved him and sacrificed herself for that love. That is a story worth telling, not some princess getting her way, but of a tragedy that had befallen on a girl who only wanted love. So, fuck you, Diana.
The class applauded me, with Suzu giving me her usual punch to my shoulder, and Naomi smiling at my logic. Diana, however, finally grew an almost angered face at me.
Well, that's not almost angered. That's definitely, she's pissed.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what you are saying is that the princess should be given no mind.
Pretty much, because she's not... I mean, she's relevant to the story, but, she's not...
Maybe if
any
she was a
type of
nice
focal
princess, I would care, but she's not a nice princess.
The story is not about the princess. The story is about the mermaid, and the mermaid should have gotten her prince.
Even at the risk of a kingdom falling apart?
Well, you don't know that.
Even if the entire world fell apart around them, duty does not overrule love, and the princess needs to realize this.
That's a very romantic way to look at the world, Buttercup.
Pretty much. The applause that followed that intensified with whoops and hollers. I felt a wave of confidence roll through my body.
Wow, this does not seem like an average high school class.
Diana wasn't going to win, and I wasn't going to let her.
We just totally schooled Diana. Oh!
Diana then stopped talking and looked to the clock on the wall, reading it quickly. This class had barely begun. That is a big frame for a clock.
Yeah, it is.
Why was she looking at the time?
Because she's bored. I'm bored. Well, I would be bored.
Diana then leaned against the blackboard. I wouldn't do that. Your dress is going to get all chalky.
Yeah.
And smiled to us. I became worried.
You know what? School isn't important. Everyone, go ahead and head home. Take the week off.
Okay.
The students suddenly began to chat happily and in confusion of the situation. Many thought it was a dream come true. Others knew better.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to stay a week later, probably.
Yeah.
Into the summer. Sucks for you guys.
Or you'll all get in trouble and they're going to call your parents because you haven't been to school this week.
Oh, yeah.
Before anyone could protest, however, Diana pressed a finger to her lips and counted down with her finger in the air. 3, 2, 1. The speakers of the classroom gently awoke, giving us an announcement we would never believe.
Buttercup, we need you in the office again. Another tragedy has befallen you.
Yep.
Attention students, due to an emergency faculty meeting, we will be closing school for the remainder of the day and this entire week. Please leave the school quickly and quietly and have a good rest of the week.
I call bullshit.
Bullshit. She used her powers on them. Damn it. I felt the need to stop her. But how could I stop a demon in the middle of a public area?
Well, everybody's gonna leave. You can fight her then if you really want.
Fair.
If you want.
If you want. Diana smiled before gesturing to the door.
Have a nice week off. School will resume next week.
Why a whole week, Diana? That's just rude.
Many of the students filed out, chatting to each other about new impromptu plans. Susie was beyond happy, but Naomi was hesitant. Before we could pack up and leave, however, Diana stepped to us.
Excuse me, little miss. I'd like you to stay a little while. There's something we need to discuss.
I don't want to discuss anything with you.
As Diana looked to Susan and Naomi, she snapped her finger, making my friends tense up.
You two can head home. Don't worry about your friend until next week, okay? If you contact her, she won't reply, so don't bother. If she contacts you, ignore her, because she's just fine.
Super rude, Diana.
That's very suspicious.
Yeah, she's gonna totally murder us, like, and leave our body in the classroom.
As if on command, Susan and Naomi left the room. I tried to march after them, but Diana stepped in my pathway, warning me with her eyes that if I followed, there would be hell to pay. I had lost my 2 friends, at least for the week. As she wanted, Diana and I were alone.
Ugh.
I slammed my hands on the desk in front of me and glared at Diana.
The fuck do you want, Diana?
What are you doing and what are you thinking?
What? Do I not make a good
No.
teacher?
No, you're a
I
really
figured
shitty
you should have a
teacher.
little lesson, so I took matters into my own hands.
That's like the best you could come up with, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were diabolical. I mean, it's just really an inconvenience for everyone.
Whatever you're trying to do won't work.
You really think so, dear? And what makes you so sure about that?
Like a lot of things, a variety of factors.
What's making me so sure? Why was I confident? Were the boys worth this?
Why is Jackie so yawny?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Aw.
My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All of the uncertainties about this whole ordeal began to cloud my mind. If the boys were ever found out, there'd be hell to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to me? Would she make my parents forget about me completely?
You'd probably be better off.
Probably. She'd ruin my friends. Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? In my gut, I felt a stone of confidence try to fight back, but the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve that stone little by little.
Psst, Buttercup, she's seducing you.
What was going on with me?
I just told you, Buttercup.
I looked up to Diana once again to see her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using her powers on me. This time, I was away from home, so I couldn't escape.
You could call Eric right now.
Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest. I felt like melting.
Yeah, she's using her powers on you, Buttercup. That's why you feel like that.
Oh, God, okay. Diana lifted her hand under my chin and ran her thumb over my lips, licking her own. I could feel little shots of energy zapping from under my skin onto my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a little taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
That's super weird.
That's a really weird thing to say.
I just imagine the voice actress for Diana being like, I have to say sweet virginal sexual energy.
In a sexy voice.
In a sexy voice.
I watched as she leaned in, ready to kiss me and take my energy. Half of my body felt elated to the idea. The other half completely rejected it and didn't want her to even touch me.
Eric!
Suddenly, Diana stopped in her tracks.
Eric? Who is...
It then dawned on her.
Ah, one of the boys. Why did you tell me which boy is Eric?
No, or else you'll steal him!
No.
I felt myself nod in compliance.
The second?
Diana giggled in reply before letting go of my face and stepping back.
Really, the sly second.
The sly
you.
second? That's not how I wouldn't describe him as sly. He's more just kind of like a flirtatious nerd.
Yeah. Either way.
Whatever.
I nodded once again, but this time partly in my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mirrored a cat's purr before stepping back away from me.
That's not anything like a purr. No, Jackie, that's not a cat's purr. Do you need to listen? Do you need to listen to Kyo? Do you need to
I just can't do the sound. Okay.
Stop trying.
Alright.
Rude.
Well, if it's the second son you're infatuated with, you should really rethink your romantic options.
I mean, which one would you suggest?
Diana chuckled before kissing my nose, where I felt a shot of energy zap out of my body, almost making me dizzy and recoil.
Boop boop.
Boop boop. Diana then turned to the desk and sat on the wood, crossing her legs.
You can go now. Remember, no class for the rest of the week.
Why?
What am I gonna do?
And how am I supposed to get home? My 2 friends left me here thanks to you, you jerk.
Oh, were they your ride? My apologies. Let me help then.
Don't teleport me.
Just gonna teleport.
Ugh.
Diana then lifted her hand and snapped her fingers. I suddenly felt the floor sink from underneath me, forcing me to look down. A purple pentagram surrounded my feet, pulling me into the ground.
Rude.
Whoa!
Before I could fight, however, I sank fully into the floor, fading into darkness and shutting my eyes. As I opened them, I felt my silk sheets around me, soothing my anxiety from the darkness that had previously surrounded me.
Why is everybody, like, why is Buttercup always in her bed?
I don't know.
Like,
What the?
Why did Diana bring me home? Was this an illusion? Was I being tricked? Something was going on. I sat in my bed, looking around me. I was indeed in my room. There was no mistake about that. Why?
maybe she's not that terrible? Not as big of a jerk as she could have been?
Possibly.
Diana is too strange.
Yeah, she's pretty weird.
Oh my god. Excuse me. Was this a game? Was this part of her plan to get the boys back? I was lost and confused more than ever, despite my logical thoughts trying to piece the puzzle that is Diana together. The more I tried to solve her, the less I understood about the situation I was in. I was interrupted, however, by my door suddenly opening, revealing the boys with Damien's hand on the doorknob.
No knocking? Okay, what if I was naked?
Miss, what are you doing here?
What's it look like I'm doing?
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
No.
No, I'm a delinquent.
I furrowed my eyebrows and stared at Damien, asking him to answer their questions through my thoughts.
Buttercup, you can't just do that. You have to use your words. You can't just make Damien, the poor mind reader, do it all for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's got enough, like, on his mind. Because he's a mind reader.
Diana sent her back here.
Diana.
She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
Diana.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously. Diana's playing around for no reason.
Sam just, like, he has these outbursts and they just, I don't know, they just make me giggle. He and Eric make me giggle.
Maybe it's part of her plan.
That's what I was thinking, Matthew. Well, that's what Buttercup was thinking.
It would have to be. The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, fueling an almost jealous curiosity in me. Damien seemed to be deep within the talking to not notice my thoughts, for he didn't even stop talking alongside his brothers.
Okay, like, honestly, I gotta talk to you for a minute, Buttercup. You cannot always expect Damien to just, like, read your mind and, like, speak for you.
No.
Like, if you have things you want to say, don't wait for Damien to read your mind. Like, you do have a voice.
Yep. Why was Diana after them? Buttercup!
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 Oh my god.
She literally told you last night when she came to visit you what she wanted from them.
And then they clarified this morning.
Yes. Why did she want to bring them back? What was important about the boys that she would travel to the human world to get them?
Find out in the next episode of Seduce Me.
Yeah, find out in the next episode of Seduce Me.
All these unanswered questions.
Oh yeah, all these super unanswered questions that have not been answered within the last few episodes.
I'm so confused.
Because, you know, it hasn't been repeated several times.
No. Of course.
No. So, we'll catch you next time.